in this video I'm going to show you how to calculate your Key Stage 5 prior attainment using our GCSE score calculator. Now our GCSE score calculator will work with SIMS and facility, so if you use SIMS or facility and if your students sat their GCSEs with you, then you will be able to use our GCSE score calculator. So I'm going to import GCSE scores for my Year 13s today, and this will make up their prior attainment. So I've already added my 90 students. However, now to proceed with either my teaching data, personalised targets or any grades imports, I need to add their prior attainment. And this is really important at ALPS because we are a value add system. We do need that prior attainment to give us a baseline to work from to provide you with value add analysis. So if I click on my add data, in my prior attainment, this launches the prior attainment wizard. Now if you have calculated your GCSE scores, or if you don't use SIMS or facility, then you can choose use my own scores, and if you click on next you get some information on this, and then you will be able to import it. However, today I'm going to show you how to use the ALPS calculator. So I'm going to click on ALPS calculator, click next, and then I get a link to download our calculator. Now this is a download so that it will link into your SIMS. So this has already been downloaded for me, so if I minimize that, it's saved here on my desktop. So if I double click on this, this will open up our GCSE score calculator tool. Now we have SIMS installed here, so today I'm going to click on my import from SIMS, and now there are two methods that you can use if you use SIMS. There is an automatic import, or if that doesn't work for you for any reason, or if you use a hosted SIMS, then you can use the alternative SIMS import, and that simply relies on extracting the GCSE data from SIMS and then running it back through the calculator, and that is the second method that I'll show you today. Both of these methods will produce an XML file, which is what you will then import into here. However, the automatic one, to use that, all you need to do is put in your SIMS username and password. Make sure that you're looking at the academic year that you want to look at, and then choose a save location for your scores and name that. So I'm happy with all of that, got my username and password in, it's the correct academic year, and I have selected an area that I can save to and find easily. So if I click OK, this will then run my my reports within SIMS. It links into SIMS itself, and it will extract that data. The calculator will do its thing, and it will produce an XML file for you. It might take a little bit of time because we are linking into SIMS. It does take a while. And sometimes people prefer the sort of alternative import because they do find that it takes less time. If there's a lot of data in your SIMS, sometimes it's better to use the alternative import because you can choose for it not to actually pull out so much data. Our auto import here is going to by default look back 7 years because that essentially we've designed it so that if you if some of your Year 13 students took a GCSE in Year 7, then we wouldn't miss that. Now, if you know that none of your students do that, and if extracting that amount of data from your SIMS is going to take a long time, you know, you can do the alternative import that I'm going to show you in a moment, and then you will be able to sort of edit those parameters and the exam dates. Okay, so now my GCSE scores have been run. An XML document appeared on my desktop. Now within our SIMS that took a good 5 minutes, and you know, we only have example data, so it can take a little bit of time for that to actually work. Now to import this in, all I need to do is open up this wizard again. I can click to choose a file and I save this to my desktop. Here's my GCSE scores XML document. Now you don't need to do anything with this, you don't need to open it up, edit it, anything like that. Simply import it as it comes, and when I click next, it will do a little bit more processing. Now this shouldn't take too long. And it will give me these GCSE scores here, and it is linked based on my student ID to pull through the surname and forename of my students. So I have my 90 students here, and we have 710 that could not be matched. And that's okay, that's nothing to worry about. That's simply because it pulls out sort of that 7 years of data, and that's why it can take quite a bit of time. Now, ordinarily I would click finish, but I do also want to show you the alternative SIMS import method. So if that auto import, simply putting in your username and password for SIMS and producing that XML file, if that doesn't work for you, or if you're using a hosted SIMS, then you can use this method. So in fact what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cancel this, and again if I go back into that prior attainment wizard, use the apps calculator, click next. Now, once we have downloaded and installed the calculator, in order to do sort of the first step, which is running your report from SIMS, you will need to click on the available MIS reports for import. So this button here, and it will open up this Explorer window. So for SIMS, I want to use this report definition here. So what I'm going to do, because this is a little bit difficult to find, I'm just again going to copy and paste this to my desktop so that I can find it nice and easily. Now within SIMS, to import this report definition, I'm going to go to Reports, Import, and find my report definition file from my desktop and open. Make sure that's ticked and then import. That says imported, great, so I can close this now. So now we need to run this report. So if I go to Reports and Run Report, you can find this in Focus and Student, and I always find it helpful to sort based on the updated column, and if I double click this, then it will open up my sort of report runner, and I can enter the parameters that I want to use for this report. Should say as well that you can always access sort of more information about this using our knowledge base, which is always available from the help button. So if I click on this now, so I've actually already searched for this article, so it's opened that up for me. and I can scroll through and find my parameters here. So for my 2018-19 cohorts, I am going to use my effective date as today, my exam date 1. Now I'm going to set this as 2013, May 31st, 2013, and that is because again, as I sort of explained earlier, we want the calculator to pick up any GCSEs that your Year 13s may have sat in Year 7. For my exam date 2, I'm just going to use today. If I click OK, then this will run. Now it might take just a little bit of time. You can see it's generating report down here, but once it has run and extracted that data for me, it will come up with a window which is export as text. Okay, so this has run. We've got this export as text box which will allow me to choose a save location. Now I don't want to save there, I don't think I'm even allowed to save there. So what I'm going to do is make sure I select XML with schema, and then I'm going to use the browse button and again save it to my desktop. So save this as alternative import 1, because this is the first file that we're going to create. Now the alternative import, so I'm happy with all of that, click OK, and that will save it to my desktop. Now with the alternative import, you have to extract your data from SIMS, and then you need to run it back through the calculator. If I tried to import that XML with schema file into here, it wouldn't work. So I do still need to run it back through this GCSE score calculator. So here is my alternative import file 1, and now in order to run this back through the calculator, I'm going to click on import from SIMS, and this time I'm going to use the manual import tab. If I click browse here, this is where I want to import my alternative import file. Click open, and then again I want to choose my GCSE score save location. So save as, just save it to my desktop. So call this alternative import 2 and save. Click OK, and it runs straight through, and it will appear almost immediately on your desktop. Now if that doesn't appear immediately, chances are you didn't save as an XML with schema file, so you may well need to go back in and extract that data from SIMS again, saving as an XML with schema. So now I've got this file run back through the calculator after the export from SIMS, and this is the one which I am now going to import into here. So again, if I click on here, find my alternative import 2 file and click next, again it will process the scores, but then it will give me that same output that we saw before. Here's my new value. I got my 90 students here, it's recognised the IDs, and there's my students that couldn't be imported. So now if I click finish, then you can see I've got my 90 students there, 100% prior attainment, and now I can move on and add teaching data or add some grades data if I want to. So I hope that was helpful for you and helped you use the GCSE score calculator for SIMS and facility. I would definitely encourage you to use the knowledge base article or the user guide alongside, as it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to do that as well.